Your parents promised you money for good grades. You studied harder, got the reward. Then something strange happened. You stopped caring about learning. You only cared about the prize. Sound familiar? You just experienced the Cobra effect in family psychology. What you felt wasn't weakness. It wasn't laziness. It was a predictable psychological response that researchers have studied for decades. And it explains why so many well-meaning families accidentally damage their children's natural motivation. The psychology behind broken family incentives in early 1900s India. British authorities faced a deadly cobra problem. Their solution seemed logical. Pay locals for every dead cobra they brought in. The plan worked until it didn't. People started breeding cobras just to kill them for money. When authorities discovered this and stopped paying, breeders released all their snakes. The problem became worse than before. This is the Cobra effect, when good intentions create perverse incentives that make problems worse. And it happens in families every single day. Dr. Edward Deasy's research at the University of Rochester reveals something disturbing. External rewards systematically undermine intrinsic motivation. When parents use rewards to motivate children, they accidentally teach their kids to only act when there's something in it for them. Your experience was real, the psychological damage was real, and it wasn't your fault. 7 family patterns that create the Cobra effect pattern. 1. The achievement transaction, what it looks like. Good grades equal money. High test scores equal privileges. Perfect behavior equals love. How it develops. Parents believe external motivation will drive success. They create transactional relationships where love and approval have conditions. Psychological impact. Children learn their worth depends on performance. They develop external locus of control. Their brain stops producing internal satisfaction signals. Long-term consequences. Adults who need constant validation. People who can't enjoy achievements without external recognition. Individuals who feel empty when accomplishments don't bring expected praise. Validation. If you struggle to feel proud of yourself without others acknowledging your success, this pattern shaped you. Your need for external validation isn't personality weakness, it's learned psychology. Pattern 2. The compliance marketplace, what it looks like. Clean your room, earn screen time, help with chores, get allowance, be quiet, receive treats. How it develops. Parents want cooperation without conflict. They turn basic family responsibilities into negotiable transactions. Psychological impact. Children learn that contribution to family life requires payment. They develop transactional thinking about relationships and responsibilities. Long-term consequences. Adults who struggle with intrinsic motivation. People who expect payment for basic human decency. Individuals who can't understand why others help without expecting something back. Validation. If you find yourself mentally calculating what you'll get from helping others, this programming runs deep. Your transactional thinking about relationships isn't selfish. It's how you were taught to navigate human connection. Pattern 3. The behavior auction, what it looks like. Stop fighting with your sister. Get a toy. Sit still during dinner. Choose dessert. Don't embarrass us in public. Earn family fun time. How it develops. Parents fear public judgment about their children's behavior. They use immediate rewards to control behavior in the moment. Psychological impact. Children learn to suppress authentic emotions and needs for rewards. They develop people-pleasing patterns and lose touch with internal emotional signals. Long-term consequences. Adults who struggle to identify their own feelings. People who automatically defer to others' expectations. Individuals who feel exhausted from constant performance. Validation. If you find yourself automatically asking, what do they want from me? In relationships, this pattern programmed you. Your difficulty accessing authentic feelings isn't emotional immaturity. It's adaptive response to early conditioning. Pattern 4. The praise addiction. Machine, what it looks like. You're so smart. You're the best. You're perfect. You never make mistakes. How it develops. Parents believe constant positive feedback builds self-esteem. They praise outcomes and traits instead of effort and process. Psychological impact. Children become dependent on external validation for self-worth. They develop fear of failure and perfectionist tendencies to maintain their special status. Long-term consequences. Adults who collapse emotionally when criticized. People who avoid challenges that might reveal imperfection. Individuals who feel like frauds despite external success. Validation. If criticism feels like emotional annihilation, this programming shaped your self-concept. Your sensitivity to feedback isn't weakness. It's the result of being taught that your worth depends on others' opinions. Pattern 5. The emotional bribery system. What it looks like. Don't cry, have a cookie. Stop being angry, watch TV, don't be scared, get a new toy. How it develops. Parents feel uncomfortable with children's difficult emotions. They use distractions and rewards to shut down emotional expression. Psychological impact. Children learn that difficult emotions are problems to be solved with external comfort. They never develop internal emotional regulation skills. Long-term consequences. Adults who use shopping, food, or entertainment to manage emotions. People who panic when forced to sit with difficult feelings. Individuals who seek external solutions for internal problems. Validation. If you automatically reach for distractions when upset, you learned this pattern early. Your difficulty sitting with emotions isn't emotional weakness. It's the result of never being taught that feelings are temporary and manageable. Pattern 6. The competition engine. What it looks like. Beat your classmates, get recognition. Be better than your siblings, earn special treatment, win at everything, prove family worth. How it develops. Parents project their own insecurities and unfulfilled ambitions onto children. They use comparison and competition to motivate performance. Psychological impact. Children learn that their value comes from being superior to others. They develop competitive anxiety and struggle with collaboration and genuine connection. Long-term consequences. Adults who can't celebrate others' success. People who feel threatened by peers' achievements. Individuals who see life as zero-sum competition. Validation. If others' success feels like your failure, this competitive programming runs your psychology. Your difficulty with collaboration isn't personality flaw. It's learned survival strategy. Pattern 7. The conditional love algorithm. What it looks like. When you behave, we're proud. When you achieve, you belong. When you're perfect, you're lovable. How it develops. Parents unconsciously withdraw warmth and connection when children don't meet expectations. Love becomes a reward for compliance. Psychological impact. Children learn that love is conditional on performance. They develop deep shame about their authentic selves and create false personas to earn acceptance. Long-term consequences. Adults who feel fundamentally unlovable. People who exhaust themselves maintaining perfect facades. Individuals who can't believe others could love them without conditions. Validation. If you feel like people would leave if they saw the real you, conditional love shaped your core beliefs. Your fear of abandonment isn't irrational anxiety. It's realistic response to early emotional environment. The neuroscience of damaged motivation. Dr. Daniel Siegel's research on interpersonal neuroscience reveals what happens in children's brains when external rewards replace internal motivation. The anterior cingulate cortex, responsible for intrinsic motivation, literally shrinks when constantly overridden by external reward systems. Meanwhile, the brain's reward circuits become dependent on external dopamine triggers. Children lose access to the satisfaction that comes from mastery, autonomy, and purpose. They become psychological addicts to other people's approval. This isn't metaphorical. It's measurable brain change that affects how you experience achievement, relationships, and self-worth for the rest of your life. How this shows up in your adult life. Maybe you recognize these patterns in your current relationships. You can't enjoy accomplishments without someone else acknowledging them. You feel empty after achieving goals you thought would make you happy. You find yourself constantly seeking approval from authority figures. You struggle to do things just because you want to do them. You negotiate everything in relationships as if love is transactional. You feel guilty when people help you without expecting payment. You automatically calculate what others want from you instead of considering what you want. You avoid challenges where you might fail publicly. You feel like a fraud despite evidence of competence. You collapse emotionally when criticized or rejected. These aren't character flaws. They're psychological adaptations to family systems that accidentally taught you to distrust your internal guidance system. The path forward through understanding. The Cobra effect in your family doesn't erase years of programming overnight, but it gives you language for your experience. It validates that what happened to your motivation wasn't your fault. Dr. Gabor Mate's research on childhood development shows that awareness is the first step in rewiring dysfunctional patterns. When you understand why you seek external validation, you can begin to notice the pattern as it happens. You can start asking different questions. Instead of, what will they think? You might ask, what do I actually want? Instead of, how can I earn their approval? You might ask, what would feel authentic to me? Recovery from the Cobra effect is possible. Your brain maintains neuroplasticity throughout your life. You can rebuild internal motivation systems that may have been damaged early. But first, you need to grieve what was lost. The natural curiosity that got buried under achievement pressure. The intrinsic joy that got replaced with performance anxiety. The authentic self that learned to hide behind a facade of perfection. Your experience in your family was real. The psychological impact was significant. The patterns you developed made sense as adaptations to your environment. And now you have the awareness to choose differently. The ultimate truth about family psychologies. Most painful truth about family dynamics is that love and damage often come from the same people. Your parents probably loved you and simultaneously programmed you with dysfunctional patterns. Both things can be true simultaneously. This isn't about blame. It's about understanding. When you understand the psychological mechanisms that shaped you, you reclaim power over your future choices. The Cobra effect in families teaches us that good intentions without psychological awareness create predictable damage. But that same understanding can guide you toward health.